podcast to Let's Talk About It. We are your lovely hosts, Gile
and Kita.
This podcast is basically three girls walking through life, sharing our thoughts and ideas. We start discussions, ask the whats and hows and whys of life, and then we talk about it. Kuto, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling very good. I'm not sick, and it's winter, so that's a bonus for me.
Ora, how are you doing today?
I'm tired. I'm extremely tired. I only had like 5 hours of sleep, which is my fault. But I'm alive and ready for today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing very good. I'm thinking about my sweater that I'm crocheting. So I keep thinking about it as I'm sitting still because I'm so eager to see it finished.
Well, we're actually starting a new series called Have You Thought About It? This series is about curiosity. Sometimes we watch a movie, hear a phrase, or believe an idea without ever stopping to ask why it affected us so deeply. So in this series, we're asking bigger questions. Where did these ideas come from? Why do they resonate with us? How do they shape the way we think and live? That's what Have You Thought About That is all about. And today's topic is evolving friendships. Today's conversation is one that I think every single person, and I mean every, can relate to, because whether we like it or not, friendships don't stay the same forever. Some friendships become stronger, some slowly drift apart, some surprise us years later, and some quietly come to an end. Today we're talking about evolving friendships. So without further ado, Ura, take us away.
Before we dive in, let's add a little bit of context. Friendships, they're constantly changing. We talk about them sometimes as if they are meant to stay the same. But the truth is, change in friendship is inevitable. People grow, life changes, seasons change, priorities shift. An evolving friendship can look like becoming closer, growing apart, setting healthy boundaries, outgrowing one another, trying to maintain long distance friendship, reconnecting after years. Sometimes it's simply that one person is changing while the other isn't. And none are bad, they're just part of life.
True.
This conversation matters most to us because we are still figuring out who we are. For people our ages, everything seems to be changing all at once. Our values may change, our faith might deepen, university or work might come into the picture, mental health can play a role, people move away. It's a lot. So why wouldn't our friendships feel the impact? What we want to explore isn't whether friendships do evolve, but rather what do the changes mean and how do we respond to these changes? So going into the discussion, when you guys hear the phrase evolving friendships, what's the very first thing that comes to mind?
Growth. The first thing that comes to mind for me is definitely growth. I don't think a friendship can evolve without growth, for sure. That's the first thing. For you, Kelza?
No, different needs. I think for things to evolve, you need to realize that you need different things. And either you guys meet each other with the needs, or sometimes the friendship separates a bit because we have different needs, and then it comes back stronger together when the needs are the same.
For me, something that I would say in my own friendships that have like sort of evolved is we no longer can maintain that. A lot of my friendships, I'll say, is long distance. So maintaining a long distance friendship is kind of hard because it's more of you have to put in the effort, you have to push, and sometimes life, like we said, comes in to play. We're all busy, we're all trying to, work through a lot of things. So some people's life, some people are in in a different season, and some of us are still in this specific season, and so it's hard to maintain that. So that's like the first thing that comes to mind for me. Have you ever looked back at a friendship and realized, wow, this friendship is completely different from what it used to be?
Yes, I have. And it's where I realized that, we were actually drifting apart because our seasons that we were going into were going into two different directions. That's the moment I realized, oh, change is happening in our relationship. It's realizing that we were going in different directions and becoming different people. In these new seasons, it actually needed us to be different people, and it was hard because I wanted the friendship still, but I knew that I was gonna have to be someone else, and they were gonna become someone else, like it or not. But guys, it was difficult. But time took its course for me, and things happened the way they did for me. So,
Yeah, I think for me, opposite, I've had some friendships that I think beforehand, either I took the friendship for granted or I thought of the friendship in a different way than it was, and then they ended up being one of the closest friends that I have today. So I think at the time I always just took them like, oh my goodness, it's just this nice friend that I see once in a while, and I never thought anything much of it. But then a bit later on, when like I look back, then I'm like, well, that person is like the best friend I've ever had, and they've been there for me through a lot, and yeah, I'm trying to be there for them as well, and yeah, I think looking back at it in hindsight, I'm more grateful for them than, yeah, I just am. So yes, I think when I look at it, I'm like, well, yeah, our friendship is a bit more different than it was in the beginning, which it was, and many circumstances and situations brought us closer to each other.
For me, so when I was in high school, in like a small high school I was in, we were like in a friend group, and like in friend groups is like, we're not all at once. Sometimes you're closer to this person, and sometimes you're closer to the other person, because like we're all in a friendship group, and sometimes you're relating to the person more than the other person, but we're still friends. And the one person that we were close, but I feel it's not what it used to be in that stage in our lives, because so much has changed in both our lives, and we're in different seasons. And I'm like looking back, and I'm like, wow, like a lot has changed, even the kind of conversations we have, because different stage in life. But yeah, I think that's the moment. I think when I think about it, I'm like, we had our moments where like you're talking to that person more, and then, but now it's like we talk more, even more, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like we're talking even more than when we're even in the friendship group. Does that make sense? What do you think changes friendships the most at our age?
Sure. Experiences. Your experiences in this like current stage in my life has changed me and some of my friendships, like in months. I'm not talking even in years, in months. Just the experience that I've had compared to my friend has changed us as individuals and in this friendship. Because, like, the conversations we have, or the time that we have, or the time that we have to make for each other is different. Because the experiences or the places that we're in are not the same. So for me, experiences have just done something. It's like a new playground in my friendships, for sure.
Can you come back to me? I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say for me, something specifically at our ages, I would say, is the experiencing different things at the same time, similar to Kuzo's, because we're at that stage where people are going into university, work. They're thinking it's like the adult era. We have entered the adulting era, and some people want different things, and we're not all going into the same places. You know, we're together on their journey, but we're not going to the same place. And I think that's like one major thing that influences change. Yeah, influences change
In the relationship.
in the relationship around at this stage specifically.
Because this one is like, it's like you find that big gap of some of us are still in school, some of us are going into universities, but some of us are going into the work field or workforce. Work field. So it's like and these things or these sectors or these are so like far from apart. It's not even funny. Because of the challenges that you're facing, all of these are not the same. You're like, even now, the conversations that you used to have, now they're different. I'm in school, but then my friend is working and I don't have things in common with them anymore. Now we have to find a mutual ground where we can still have a good relationship without our experiences and our new seasons affecting our relationship. It's nearly impossible.
I can't agree because all my friends are in very different circumstances than I am in. I think I maybe have one or two friends that are in the same position as me. So everyone has different experiences. Some live very far, some live close, some are, But what I found that changes friendships is priorities and feelings. I think at times, sometimes really, you can have a friend that has unique circumstances to you and different experiences, but their character and their personality stays the same, and that's what keeps the friendship. But I found that sometimes what changes friendships is feelings. When you just don't feel like you have anything in common with that person anymore, either by morals or by the beliefs or anything else. It can be feelings and priority. Sometimes someone just doesn't have the time or the space to prioritize the friendship anymore. And I'm saying this because I want to say 80 to 90% of my friendships are long distance, and it just works very well for us because we prioritize time for each other, and we make space for one another, and we prioritize the friendship, and we make sure any time spent together is we give our everything in that. And so I don't have to see my friends every day, but when I do see them, I don't feel like something's off, because the feelings are the same. They're consistent in their character, they're consistent in the love, they're consistent in their loyalty and just all those things. And because their character is consistent and mine is, I sit with that friend and it's like we've sat together last week. And I think that, yeah, exterior stuff can change things, but interior is the thing that makes things move. So I want to say that, yeah, that's what for me changes friendships.
Priority shift, I think, is a big one. But I think all of us, because what you used to prioritize in a specific season is not the same as what you would prioritize now. And sometimes that can really be hard to navigate in friendships today. How do you know the difference between growing apart and simply going through a difficult season together?
Growing apart versus going through a different season
A difficult
is
season.
a difficult one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is actually very hard to differentiate at times, or even at the beginning. With the season part, I feel like it's a lot of things. It could be a lot of reasons for me. I think differentiating that would be very hard. Let me think about it.
I think for me it's a bit simple because of the intention. And when someone is going through a difficult season, there is communication. There is like the choice to be there, but maybe you can feel they're vacant. But people who grow apart, it's very intentional. I feel like it's very intentional. Like they say stuff like, "Oh, I'm just very busy," and like what I'm saying, it's the priorities. You can feel the intentionality in you just don't want to see me versus I just don't feel like seeing anyone. And I think that when you look at that, and you can kind of, and remember, this is your friend, that you know how their schedule plays. You know that when they are really busy, they can somehow find 10 minutes to send you the 10-minute voice record they usually do. But now all of a sudden they're just busy. But they have time to see other people, but they're busy when it comes to you. Well, as someone who's going through a difficult season, it's hard for them to see anyone. It's hard for them to, and when you communicate with them, when you see them, you can clearly see like you're going through the most. And if you have a good friendship, they can even communicate it to say, I'm just going through a hard time right now. And but there is intentionality whenever they feel like they are up to it. Hey, can I call you? Or they'll send you a voice record or something. But there is movement there to kind of let you into the space, and to also find out how you're doing. But people who drift away, it's a choice first and then actions that follow.
The first thing that came to my mind when I read this question was there was this time when I was 13, grade 7, and I was also in a friendship. I think I was a lot in 3 people group.
Like a triple.
Like a triple
Trio.
Trio. Yeah, a trio.
Oh.
I'm always in trio. I was always in trios in primary school, and I was in this friendship group, and one of the girls in the group, we argued so much, I think every single day in class, and I remember the one time I was like, you know what, maybe let's not communicate with each other anymore. Let's maybe, but that was my 13-year-old brain. I was kind of like, maybe let's not talk to each other. Let's not talk about this. Let's no more engage with each other. And I don't know how long it was, and I remember, I think it was later, maybe we took some time not talking to each other, and then slowly we started talking to each other again, and realized that you kind of missed the friend. And now that I'm older, when I look back at that friendship, I tend to like sort of question to myself, were we perhaps going through a difficult season where so much is changing in our lives and internally that we don't know how to communicate it well enough, or was it were we just drifting apart because of circumstances? You know what I mean? So I'm still I don't know really. I'm still unsure on the are we is it the drifting apart or is it the difficult season? How do I differentiate between the two?
I'm stuck there with you.
Yeah, because we eventually spoke again, but obviously the next year was high school and we didn't really keep contact.
You see, if you're drifting apart because you have a disagreement, then you have a reason for your drifting apart. Is we don't get along anymore. But there are cases where people are drifting apart because they're having different seasons. So now it's hard to differentiate now. Are we drifting apart because we're in a new space, we are thinking different, we believe different things, we see things different, we are drifting apart because of that? Or are we drifting apart because we don't get along in our new spaces or in our new environments? That's what I'm saying. It's so hard for me sometimes to look and say my friendship with this person took this course because we were not getting along, or we didn't have anything in common, or we just had different perspectives and views and values of the world, of life, and that's the reason why we drifted apart. Or is because I'm in a new space, I want different things, I'm growing in this way, they're growing in that way, that is why we are drifting apart. That's why I can't put it in words and say the reason for us drifting apart, or for us, it's because of 1, 2, 3. That's why I say it's hard to differentiate.
Difference.
Yeah. I think Kelly's one is consistent when it comes to the priority, but for me, I feel, and I really do strongly, seasons can affect the relationship. Your season, new season, old season. Some people are still in their old season. You're going into a new season. The friendship will be affected. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to say which one it is.
Yeah. Okay. I think all of us, maybe Kila said 80 to 90% of our friendships are like long distance, right? And I know also your friendships are
mine
long
as well.
distance, mine as well. What keeps a long distance friendship alive?
I'm gonna take what Kila said. It is the effort, like the effort to keep a relationship like long distance. It's not a game. It's not a game. Like, it is so important. Because if we just look in our daily lives, there's so many things that happen. Some big, others small. But that voicemail, that text, that short call, it makes such a huge impact in a relationship. And I think if you want a successful long distance relationship, what has worked for me is effort. Sending a text, how are you doing? Asking, organizing, can we call? Send me a cute video of whatever outfit you're wearing to that event. You just kind of be involved, and showing that you care with the smallest things. Send your friend a cute video of something that you feel reminds you of them. And I think those smaller things make that long distance relationship just much more like easier, and the drifting apart doesn't necessarily come to play in that, because you're so like undivided. I think we can learn a lot from influencers. they do it all the time. They have millions of people who follow their lives who feel like they know them, and none of them don't even know them, because like it doesn't take space to be vulnerable. Like what keeps any relationship is vulnerability. Is that I know your heart, I know exactly who you are. And like I think sometimes with friendships we become very complacent, especially with like close friendships. Like I've had friendships where like I saw the person every week, but they don't know anything about me. They don't know actually what's going on in my life. Because every time when we see each other, it's like, oh, did you do that homework last week? Yeah, I did it too. Yeah. Like you get so used to talking about surface level stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so cold. What about the weather? What?
Ah.
You get so complacent and you think you're close with someone, but you're not. You're not. And I feel long distance friendships, it really shows you what your friendship is built on. Because if your friendship was built on the week thing, it falls away quick. But friendships that last in long distance, literally when you call your friend, you're like, I'm not okay. And you go in deep with the person, that because you haven't seen them in a month or 2 months or 3, like they know exactly what's going on in your life. Like even if they're not there all the time, because like I said, you're not complacent. You're so thorough with the work, the inner work you tell them. You're like, you're telling them like last week I was actually so upset because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm starting to realize I have a problem with this, you know. I have a lot of trust issues, and I'm working through that. And when they call you, they check up like, are you still working through that thing you told me about, you know? And you're like, oh yeah, an update. I actually started trusting again last week actually. And it's like you building that relationship with every call, with every text. There's no space to be complacent. I promise you, if you call someone now and you tell them about your week, they're like, update me, and you start talking about your week, 10 minutes is too much. 10 minutes is too much. And that's why I say I think we can learn so much from influencers, because they'll turn a camera, they'll be like, guys, I've been struggling with my food, you know. Like they just say what's on their mind, and you start to know these people. Like I sometimes watch influencers, I'm like, this person doesn't even know me, but I know everything about them. I know their favorite color, I know their dog, I know their dad's name, I know that their mom is doing, like I know so much. Because again, to build anything, you can't be complacent. You have to be thorough. And people who will make it in any long distance anything is people who are thorough and who are willing to go the extra mile to tell their friend, like, I think I'm constipated and I don't know what to do. Like you're just so honest, and like you problem solve with your friend in the call about things that bother you like deep down. You can't talk about the weather. You know, I have a friend who my weather problems are not hers. I called her, I'm like, yo, it's so cold. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about because it's hot here. Because she lives in Cape Town and I live here. And I will like call her and she's like, it was raining this week. I'm like, why would it rain? It's winter. And it's like, if we talk about the weather, we're just not going to see eye to eye. She's in university. I got my own things to problem solve. And when she talks about university, I listen, but I can't relate. So it's like we're gonna have to talk about deeper things, and she'll open up about things that, you know, that are bothering her. Probably her classmates, when she talks to them, they talk about the weather and about the class schedules. She has someone to talk about those things with, but that's not me, and that's okay. It's okay that it's not me. I don't get to talk with her class schedules, but I get to tell her that I'm constipated. So it's like finding that balance to know why you're in that friendship.
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
Understanding your friends' communication patterns and understanding their heart. I think that's something that's helped me a lot. Because in previous friendships, I was in the same school as the person, you know what I mean? And you would text them and you see the person is online, and they're not responding to your text message. And in this specific friendship, it was like the beginning of like high school. So in this specific friendship, because now we're from the same primary school, youth high school, and you're thinking, okay, we're gonna keep together. We're
in this together.
We're in this together. So the communicate when I got back home, and you're like texting like, how was your day, because we're in different classes now. How was your day? How did you find the first day? And the person would be online and just like sometimes read your text and move on. You know what I mean? And now I'm in like new friendships, and and I have friends that I know because they tell me, listen, I'm trying my best with the texting thing. I'm not the best. Sometimes I genuinely forget to answer your message, not because I don't care, but because of the way I think and the way I prioritize things in my life. And understanding that helped me maintain that long distance friendship, because I understand that, oh, my friend, for her, she would come and be like, listen, update 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 happened in my life. Sometimes she would be like, I need to tell her right now when this is happening right now in my life. And keeping each other like, oh, okay, what's happening? Last time you talked to me, this and this, it's the constant updating, the constant communication, the constant like, okay, I'm thinking about you, I see you. And that's one of the biggest things, is understanding somebody's heart, understanding who they are and how they function. Because we're not in the same room, you can't physically see them and their thought process or how they function in a day-to-day basis. And sometimes we assume, sometimes we feel like maybe they're not thinking about you, or they don't care about the friendship as much as you do. But it's sometimes the opposite. It's life gets in the way. So that I would say. Then for our last question, what's one boundary you've learned is necessary in friendship that you didn't understand a couple years ago?
Sure. It's okay to take some time apart. Like, I always felt pressured that I always need to spend a certain amount of time with my friends for our relationship to remain what it is. And I ended up doing too much, where I also got tired of doing all that effort. And also that friend as well was doing too much on their side, and they got tired of putting in all that effort, where we didn't have anything to share, we didn't have anything to do, but we still had ourselves doing all of this stuff that was just so unnecessary. And I just got so tired that by the time that I wanted to share something, I was tired of even the thought of it, because I'm like, we've overdone it. And I just learned that boundary to say, sometimes you can even tell your friend, like, let me tell you the truth, right now I have nothing to share. Nothing different, nothing new is happening in my life. What I told you a month ago is still basically what's happening in my life today. And if that friend has something to share, then that's awesome. Let them share it. But just because you guys don't speak every day, just because weeks and a month could go by without you guys talking, doesn't mean that your relationship is falling apart, or it's not healthy. It's just, I don't know what brings that pressure to think that your relationship is only strong when you always have something to say and talk about. But sometimes things just are not happening in both of your lives, and you have nothing to say and you have nothing to share. I had to give myself the benefit of the doubt to say, what else am I supposed to do when there's nothing to share? And I think that's when I gave myself the boundary. I don't think I put it on my friends, because I'm the one who was causing this on myself at the end of the day. To say the boundary is, if you have nothing to share, if nothing is happening in your life, you don't have to try anything else, make things up, try and bring some sort of spark in your relationship with your friends for it to be strong and beautiful and fun. And sometimes just life becomes life and nothing is happening, and that's okay. So that's a major boundary, not on my friendship or on my friends, but for myself mainly. Yeah.
Not everyone is your bestie.
No. And this one is gonna need a cup of coffee.
We like everyone is this is my best friend and that's my best friend and the best. Sometimes it's just your friend.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just your comrade. And sometimes it's just your acquaintance. And sometimes it is your best friend. But I think today I have actually maybe this is also how I don't have like none of my friends are actually best friends. My best friends is like these people here. And like I used to be that person, like everyone's my bestie.
Yeah.
But I just found like it just puts unnecessary like pressure on certain relationships that the moment that name was on their age, now if they are hanging out with someone else, there's like also that pressure like, no, but we're besties, we have to do everything together. No, like, and it makes it so calm when I'm like, no, I love you, friend, I love you. I genuinely do, but you're not my best friend, and that's okay. And I tell my friends, like, I don't have to be your best friend. I don't want to be your best friend. That's just gonna also put a lot of pressure on me, because I feel like now I have to know everything about you, and I have to be the number one. I have to be the the maid of honor. No, I'm okay with being a bridesmaid. I'm okay with just being invited to the wedding. I'm okay with just like at the table. I'm at the table of friends. I don't have to be sitting close to you. And I think like when you were a child, everyone was your friend and your best friend. But like the older you get, the more you realize like it's really not worth it. You know, it causes a lot of stress to call everyone your best friend. And there's also an expectation with that name. You know, when you start saying, you know, my best friend, yo. Now I'm even freaking out, because like when they start, now I'm like, they're not acting like my best friend. How is a best friend supposed to act? So just call everyone your friend.
Finishing
Even if in your heart sometimes you're like, but this one is like, I have friends where in certain seasons this one is more my best friend. Then in another season, this one is my best friend. It changes depending on the season.
It's better to call people sisters.
But yes, I call my friends sisters. I'm like, you're my sister. Yeah. Because, you know, with family, I can be mean to you and we can move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with family, it's like, I can ignore you, but you're still family. Like, not like ignore you, but like, I don't have to talk to my sister every day for her to be my sister. She's already my sister. Like, she doesn't have to earn that spot. And when there's friends that I feel like are my best friends, then I tell them, you're my sister. Because then I'm also telling them, like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything. Just the way you are. I love you.
Yeah, and that
you don't even have to talk. It can't be taken. No one's going to take your spot. Because no one can take your sister or your brother's spot. So when I say best friend, it's these people. But in reality, I don't have best friends anymore. And that's just made my life so much easier. Because even when they don't call me, I'm like, you're my friend. She's so funny. And then I move on. It's light, it's calm, it's really freeing not to have a best friend.
One necessary boundary I've learned in friendship is, I would say, clear communication. Because a lot in friendships, like especially if we're always on the phone, can get lost in translation, and things cannot. They can, you know, get mixed up a lot. So I would say context, clear communication. It's something that I tried to. In a previous friendship, I had to you have to be like, I had to tell the person, listen, I love you as my friend, but I don't think I follow this your line of values or your line of like beliefs, if you will. It's not something that I necessarily believe in, and I had to be like, precise and kind, because it's always not what you say but how you say it to the person, because you respect them as a human being, you respect them as a friend. So I think a healthy boundary for me that I saw that is very necessary is clear communication, context, also understanding somebody's heart, just tell the person, listen, let's talk to each other like we both, can hear each other, like let's hear each other out. That's one boundary I've learned is necessary.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Let's Talk About It. If today's conversation